Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today we're going to be taking a look at Flash once again here. He's been pretty active on the ladder up at the top once again. And he's going to be going up against Rich. He did play a couple of games against him. We're looking at their first game here. It looks like the map is Polypoid, I believe, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll just wait and see here for a moment. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into ArtosisCasts. Have some exciting stuff coming up very, very soon that you'll be seeing probably in the next 3 days, I want to say. I'm not gonna... that's it. That's the tease. There it is. You're gonna love it, though. I promise that you're gonna absolutely love it. So make sure that you are checking back. I'll make a post about it on whatever that weird posting thing that YouTube has is as well. But yeah, you're gonna be very happy. Anyways, taking a look at this game, these two players, obviously Rich is like one of these very, very strong ladder players. Yeah, it looks like it is, in fact, Polypoid. I was a little bit worried. I'm like, is this Fighting Spirit? God, I hope it's not Fighting Spirit. I'm not going to learn anything. You can see those little edges of the terrain. The top left main is not like that on Fighting Spirit. So anyways, and some people can tell by the grass, but I don't play Fighting Spirit anymore, so I sometimes mess it up. Looks like Polypoid to me. Anyways, Rich is one of these top ladder guys. He did well in ACS. Still hasn't been able to quite get into ASL, but very, very close to that. I think well respected by the Korean pros, plays with them very, very often. One of the highest ranked Protosses on the ladder. And of course, Flash is Flash, the greatest ever to do it. Now he's going to scout up here, and he's actually going to find Nexus first when he's going for a gasless expansion. And he's going to find it in time that he won't start a second depot. And he'll just go immediately, most likely. We have seen some Marine rushes, so maybe he throws a second depot. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to be careful about this because when we first saw this happening a lot, right? So gasless expansion, if you just go forward with a gasless expansion and you know that they are going with a Nexus first, the builds are almost even, right? If they go 2-gate and skip some probes, make some zealots, you actually can be ahead with this build. Whereas if they go 1-gate and just make probes nonstop, you'll be a little bit behind with the build, right? But it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Now, when these two builds started hitting each other quite often, which was several years ago now, like 4 years ago, they started hitting each other really often. And a lot of players were trying to do their expansion, but also Marine SCV rush. And they were failing all the time with it. Protoss was winning all the time. Now, the different thing that is happening now, and I'm not going to say that it was specifically Flash, but this is where I noticed it happening. Because I hadn't seen this build working. Like the first time I casted Flash doing this, I talked about how terrible it was. He builds a bunker way out here. So he builds it super, super far away. And I've mentioned that you're going to have to, as a Protoss player, if you're going Nexus first, run a probe out here at some point just randomly early on to see if they're making the bunker, because you have to deny that. This bunker allows the push forward. It's very much like 8 racks against a Zerg player, where you have to build a bunker far enough away that they can't just smash it and surround everything with drones. Like, they have to really commit. And you use this bunker to be able to push to this bunker. So if they are fighting, you run back your Marines into this bunker so they can't be surrounded, and then the drones or probes or whatever take hits, and then they have to run back, and then you go forward and try to make the bunker again, and if they come up to attack the bunker, you attack them, and then you run back if they try to surround, right? So that's what this bunker is for, and it's changed everything. It has changed absolutely everything. And as you can see, he's getting this Nexus kill. The Nexus is gone. It's kind of crazy to see. Excuse me. It really has changed things about how these two builds interact. Now, obviously, if you scout him later, like, if he didn't scout until the second position, he'd already have his command center, right? Most likely. And he couldn't do this rush. But if you scout them first in these types of close positions, and you see that Nexus first, it seems like this is the best way to go about it. I love the evolution of the metagame here. It's just so insane to just see how different everything becomes. Now, I would be pretty scared as Rich. He knows that a command center is up right now for Flash. Flash is going to get ahead on workers. Hard to imagine anyone beating Flash in that type of position. Flash does run 1 Marine home. It's kind of interesting. You do want to leave some amount of Marines in here. And I think it's actually fine to leave more than 1. If you leave 1, honestly, the Dragoons can just walk up and kill it right away. Like, if they notice, right? Not everyone notices. Some people are just like, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of Marines in there. 3 Marines in there, you absolutely cannot. You'll end up losing goons and stuff. But yeah, he's going to go ahead, run back. He might even try to fall back to this secondary bunker with these Marines. SCV going to go home here as well. And yeah, he's just going to leave 1 Marine there to die. And you can see Rich here is going to clear that out. But basically perfectly done there from Flash, who does have a bunker at home and has siege mode on the way. He does have his second factory, but skips that add-on to have the money for both siege and siege tank going up into his eBay as well. So this has all been basically perfectly executed. Up here at 12 o'clock, we have the Nexus for Rich. He kind of ran the probe around and made that first. And he is double expanding. This is very, very standard. You have ranged goons after breaking out of the Nexus bust. You put pressure on. What this does is it forces siege tanks and missile turrets because you simply don't know if DTs are on the way. So it forces Terran into a turtled position, and you double expand to try to make up for losing your Nexus. And a lot of this now is about optimizations, right? Like, and of course you have to kind of intuit what your opponent is doing. Are you going to do that through solid scouting? Or are you going to try to get that in a different way? Because obviously there's no way for Flash to peer into this main base. He's not getting a comsat or anything like that. It is an option you could do, but not a great one. Now, siege on the high ground, so he does push this back relatively quickly. There is a missile turret. This is doing multiple functions. It blocks against DTs. DTs could probably hit the edge of this bunker, but excuse me, you don't care about that. But if they try to do something stupid like run by, this turret will give detection up a big portion of the ramp, right? So this is a very safe one. It gives detection over to about here as well. And it kind of zones out a little bit of shuttle play. And in fact, he throws a second one down because this doesn't totally zone out. You could fly a shuttle down the side. So another turret going up, but that is kind of an interesting one. That's like a very, very, very safe turret. Whereas if you put a turret here or something, they can actually target that down sometimes or slip a DT onto the ramp and, you know, you're going to be screwed. So right now, Flash very heavily making siege tanks, 2 factory siege tanks going down. He has his armory going with that +1. Looking at Rich's side, he is trying to explode his probe count. He is still behind as far as workers go. Up to 4 gate as well. Not a big surprise there. Definitely something that Rich likes to do. Excuse me, sorry. Still a little bit of a cold here, unfortunately, but I am getting better. Happens when you have kids. They bring home a lot of germs. So, yeah, observers coming out, and the 4 gate just gives him some stability of having a lot of units. But honestly, he doesn't super need it right this second. I think that the important thing here would be for him to either go Reaver or go into Citadel very quickly. Because as you can see, and the thing is, he doesn't know. He doesn't have any vision. He doesn't know, but Flash looks like he's going to go into a 6 factory follow-up, which makes sense, obviously, as Rich, you know, lost that initial Nexus and is trying to power up his economy here. Flash, you can see, has stopped his SCV production, which is a big thing to look at. Notice that he's not even at 50 workers. He's at 49 here, which is, like, pretty solid. But if you stop in your 40s somewhere, even at 49, it's basically just an all-in. Now, you see, Rich actually got between these 2 turrets just barely. Took a couple hits, but sees the 6 factory. So from here, he needs gateways. He needs a Citadel. Does he have the Citadel? No, he doesn't. Well, he does have Reaver tech, and he's going Reavers, which is, like, good. It's okay. I'm very nervous for him right now. 4 more gates on the way. So getting up to 8 gates, which is a great number. The Reavers definitely can be helpful. I wonder if Flash is going to go heavier on Goliaths or lighter. He has been going much lighter recently. Okay, there's the Citadel. And again, I do think that this is the most important thing. He has to get down here, by the way, and slow this move out. Just as much as he can in whatever way that he can. So, yeah, the missile turret going up as... Hey, sorry for the little glitch there. You know, I know that Blizzard, being a small independent studio, is unable to fix anything that ever goes wrong with their game, despite having, you know, a giant dedicated scene and 50,000 plus daily concurrent logins. All right, so that little freeze there. I actually will be reinstalling my computer this weekend as well. So forgive me if there's a couple more casts that sometimes have a little glitch in them. The StarCraft has been freezing a lot lately. And I never change anything on my PC. I hate technology. Anyways, technology is just a way to get more StarCraft, or to get StarCraft at all, I guess. So I guess I like it for that reason. Okay, taking a look at this position, right? Flash is pushing pretty quickly. The Reaver's trying to slow him down. Zealot legs are still coming, but it's not ready. The optimal place would be to have Zealot legs here, right? He was a little bit late on that Citadel compared to what I felt like he should have. And Flash's push is so fast. Look at how many siege tanks he has. It's kind of absurd. He is getting up here so quickly and just leapfrogging forward non-stop. The Reaver having a hard time. Zealot's coming up, but legs are just not done. So this engagement probably won't go well. You can see the Zealots are actually doing a pretty damn good job without legs. Holy crap. Imagine if he had legs there. He would have crushed. Well, I guess he actually still is going to clean this, even without the legs. But imagine with legs how bad this would have been. Holy crap. Well, I guess Flash actually somehow makes it close there at the end. But still, this goes to show that you really do need to get those Zealot legs immediately. I do feel like he should have thrown down the Citadel and then those gateways, right? Not that it costs all that much. Like, I think he was a little bit short on gas, so maybe cancel a goon. I don't know, man. But, like, Zealot legs makes all the difference in the world. But now Rich is looking fantastic. I actually thought for sure, as Flash was pushing up there and legs wasn't done, I'm like, oh, God, it's another Flash win. But now I'm looking at this, and I don't think so. Flash starts his third base. Okay, starts his third base. That's like an important follow-up. He does have 6 factories, so he's going to be able to make a reasonable standing army. Starts his SCV production again a little bit. He's up to 50 now. I'm sure he'll get that going again in a second, but he's got to make sure he's got units flowing as well. Rich has a lot of units, so where does he go from here? In my opinion, you probably double expand. Like, maybe you go 4th, make sure you're making, and then, like, 5th or 5th up here, right? Because if your opponent is taking this position, it's not like he can attack you right now. Look at the supply differential. Like 40 supply difference. And he's got those legs. He's got some shuttles. Speed is almost done. Templar Archive's coming. Like, I love the 4th base, but if you just sit on 4 bases making units, I feel like that's an opportunity for Flash to maybe start coming back here. Now, Flash moving around with a couple of groups of vultures. Oh my God, that was really good. He actually comes up with all of his vultures and starts attacking this kind of small group of goons. It's funny watching pros decide when to attack goons with vultures because, like, goons really counter vultures, but, you know, that's a beautiful thing about Brood War, right? Like, or, you know, as Napoleon said, quantity has a quality all of itself or something like that. I don't know. It was in French, dude. Shut up. But... like, it's true, right? Like, even though goons counter vultures, if you have a ton of vultures there and there's not that many goons, you can fight. You can just target them down. It is a doable thing. Flash running up, throwing down some mines there. Rich just macroing pretty cleanly. I feel like he's planning to just do a maxed out attack. And Flash takes a 4th. Jesus. This guy just... crazy. Okay, so if you look at the way that this is coming about, right? Flash is setting up this base. I think if Rich maxes for an attack like it looks like he's planning on, excuse me, sends his units down here and attacks this way, no way for Flash to do anything about that because he's putting so much up here. Now, if Rich attacks into this position, Flash might hold it, right? Like, when you look at this type of army, you need 140 supplies set up as Terran to make sure that you hold off the maxed Protoss army. But his supply, you can see here, look at how he's moving back and forth. Oh my God. His mine's over here giving him just enough time to move the tanks that are not sieged. He has not sieged them up into a better position. Let's see if this ends up working. I feel like he's not ready. I feel like he's not quick enough here. Pulls his vultures back. The Zealots just running in on top of everything. Yeah, Flash is going to GG. You know, I think he looked at this. And it wasn't terrible ideas. Like, he did the push, and I actually thought it might work there for a moment, but, you know, Rich just had so many units at that point. Look, he busted the Nexus, got his expansion up way quicker, and still Rich held, even with late Zealot legs. Kind of crazy. So some good macro for sure. But the setup of the 4th base up here, excuse me, and the way he had his tanks unsieged, if he had started moving them, the thing is it's hard because when the army's here, it only takes a couple seconds to get down here, and he had mines to try to get back in position. Because the thing is, he technically has enough supply to hold this attack, but you have to be set up. And as we saw, as he was coming down to set up, the push was already there. So he was like at least 10 seconds out from holding it. Is there a better place he could have stood? Is there a better thing he could have done? I think if you can scout these areas, excuse me, and notice there's no 5th being taken, I actually think you should wait a little bit, right? Get 160 supply, get 170 supply, because a lot of times Protoss will try to finish in a situation like this. I feel like when the 5 or 6 fact push fails, it's because Protoss did a good job getting up gateways and getting Zealot legs, and they were able to push it. And the thing is, they have so much unit production at that point, a lot of times it turns into a follow-up like this. So if it's turning into a follow-up like this, you can sit there and macro on 3 base against 4 and be okay, right? Like you can, maybe you're slightly behind, and maybe if this gets up, obviously it's going to give you a higher percentage chance of victory, but I feel like the percentage chance of losing goes way up with this as well. So a little bit more volatile approach there from Flash. An interesting game though. It was back and forth. I thought Flash won for sure for most of it for 10 minutes after he busted that Nexus. But yeah, Rich with some solid macro play comes back. So that does it, guys. Hope you enjoyed a Flash loss. Eat it, YouTube commenters. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.